Great Pharaoh, the gift of Troy is a fabulous fabric from the land of the 5 rivers.
Beatsmith music.
Welcome to the Tool.
No, I'm just fucking with y'all, man. Hey, welcome to the Tool, man. Welcome to the Fair NFL channel, man. We're gonna have a great show. My co-host is backstage, man. I appreciate everybody pulling up, man. I just had some fun with y'all just for a second. But I see y'all in the chat. Oh my God. Salute, man. Son Johnson. Salute, Farrell. What's good, man? Appreciate you pulling up. Dodgers, everything. Raiders. What's up, fellas, man? I got something for you, man. Just for that, man. Hey, what's good? What's good? Appreciate you coming through. DeMarcus Webb in the building. What's good, nation? Let's go on a run this week. Yeah, man, they got an opportunity, and we're going to talk about it, too, today. Hey, Eugene Powell, go Raiders. Salute to you, Farrell. Hey, man, I appreciate you coming through, man. What's good, man? And Alex Marquez, I need that playlist, bro. I got you, man. I'm got you. You got to hit me up on Instagram, and I got you, man. I'm not gonna hate. Queen Raider in the building. I appreciate you coming through, man. If you haven't, go make sure to subscribe, man. She's a content creator on Instagram, so make sure you subscribe to her. But without further ado, I'm not gonna leave my co-host backstage for that long, man. Let me get him in here real quick. Hold on. What's going on?
Hey, what's good, man? Hey, I'm with Alex. I need that playlist too.
What's good, man? What's up, man? How you doing, bro?
I'm doing great, dude. How you doing?
Cool, man. We haven't talked since Tuesday. I mean, lots happened since then.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, we're in the news, and we'll talk about it today. I think. What's on your mind, bro? Like before tomorrow's game, I need someone in the chat was actually talking about how like tomorrow we need to go on a run. Look, DeMarcus right here. He kind of got the conversation going by saying it was good, nation. Let's go on a run this week. How do you feel about that, man?
Yeah, man. I just dropped a video about an hour ago talking about this same exact thing, and it's like, you know, it's so funny because you rewind the clock back 2 weeks, and we were ready to fire Josh McDaniels. We're talking about a CJ Stroud and Bryce Young in the first round, one of those top picks. And now here we are, and it's so crazy what 2 weeks in the National Football League can do when you get a win.
Yeah.
And here we are, and there's a completely different vibe in the organization and the fan base. And it's like, hey, if we can go out here and beat the Chargers, we got 2 games coming up right after that, hey, we can go on a little run here.
Nah, facts, 100%. I mean, I was with everybody. I mean, I was like, I was kind of like questioning Josh McDaniels, Derek Carr. I mean, you know, I wasn't putting it on Derek Carr, but I was like, if this doesn't work out this year, then they're probably going to point at Derek Carr. But, you know, a difference and a back-to-back wins, I guess it's a lot because now you're looking at Derek Carr. You know, if he finished the season strong, you know, he's coming back next year. Obviously, we all know that McDaniels is coming back with Mark Davis coming out with his comments and public support. And I think that kind of changed. Some people can point to that and say that was probably a big difference in how the Raiders probably played ever since Mark Davis kind of came out in public support. Then you could probably point to maybe Derek Carr, you know what I mean? When he had that emotional post-game conference after the Jaguars game. And ever since then, the Raiders are 2-0. At the end of the day, the Raiders are 2-0 since that emotional conference. Press conference. So there's a lot of things that you could point to. But at the end of the day, man, the Raiders got to show up on Sunday. You know, we can talk about all these good things and all that. At the end of the day, it won't matter if they can't get a win. They can't get a W against, to me, in my opinion, a beatable Chargers team.
Oh, they're definitely vulnerable, and right now they have injuries. Corey Lindsey is a huge miss for them. They're going to be missing their center, their right tackle, and that's things that the Raiders need to take advantage of. I mean, this is a very vulnerable Chargers team, and to allude back what you were saying about Mark Davis. I think personally, with all the news, there's so much news that surrounds the Raiders, right? And when this team loses, there's so much media coverage, there's so much media narrative, all these rumors. Honestly, my true opinion is that in that locker room, guys are trying to compete to win. That's
Mhm.
what I just think that they were falling short. And then this team who is in close football games is now finally learning how to win games, and now you're starting to see that translate onto the field. So now the Raiders are finding ways to win in those close games, which is crucial coming down the stretch. And not only that, but moving forward, not only for this season, but for the seasons to come with Josh McDaniels under the helm. These guys are going to know that they can win close football games.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what I was asking for. I mean, like at some point in the season, people start talking about tanking because the Raiders don't have a chance. They're 2-7, yada yada yada. We all know what everybody was talking about at that time. And my thing was always like, all right, I don't believe in tanking, but what I do want, if you're going to stick with Josh McDaniels, I want to see some type of improvement. You can't tell me if this team gets worse and worse and worse with the talent that they have. You can't tell me that McDaniels will come back with some other like. What is he going to do with different players? Like you can't win with Devontae Adams. You can't win with some of the players that are on Max Crosby, Josh Jacobs. These are three. I named three elite players. A lot of teams don't have three elite players. You know what I
No,
mean?
and if Rich Bisaccia could go on a run with the Deshaun Jackson and a Hunter Renfro as your number one, no Darren Waller and a Gus Bradley defense, who's to say if the Raiders go out here and win some football games that Josh McDaniels can't get the job done with more talent?
Facts, 100%, man. But let's get into it, man. I mean, one of the topics of the week was Darren Waller. You know what I mean? You had people come on, some radio interviews, like a former team doctor talking about Darren Waller and how he's kind of almost like questioning. He's almost implying he didn't come out and just say it, but he's kind of like implying like, I don't really get what's going on with Darren Waller. Like, kind of adding fuel to the flame about like, because there have been some questions, especially when, Derek Carr kind of came out and was like, questioning some guys in the locker room. And, obviously the Devontae Adams calling out teammates. And there's kind of been, that, and then JT the Brick had his little thing during the week where he was kind of like, I'm not gonna say who it is, and I'm not gonna say the name or anything like that, but he kind of questioning if guys are kind of taking it easy a little bit. They're kind of like, you know what I mean? And that's a very serious claim. And I think everybody's kind of looking at Darren Waller. But what are your thoughts on that, man? Like, do you think that like Darren Waller do you think he's kind of faking his injury? Faking his injury? You think he's taking his time?
To me, to be honest with you, man, I don't buy that. I don't think that's Darren Waller's character. I really
Mhm.
don't. I think that this guy does put in a ton of work. I think he wants to play football. I don't think that he's the type of guy to fake an injury. Look, how do we know that this is technically directed towards Darren Waller? You alluded to this earlier before we went on live, and you said, there's somebody going underneath the radar here that nobody's brought up, and it's Hunter Renfro.
Mhm.
We haven't heard a word about Hunter Renfro. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So
Yeah.
is this a
Yeah.
Hunter Renfro situation? Like hamstrings are one of those injuries, and even Josh McDaniels has come out and said that openly to the public. This is one of those things that you could be good for 3 days, 4 days in a row, and the next thing you know, something pops up, sporadically. So I haven't heard anything on the Hunter Renfro front. So who knows? Who knows who these reports could be about?
Yeah, that's the one thing that I'm kind of like, everybody's kind of quick to point at Darren Waller because obviously he's the player that's hurt. He's the guy that's not been on the field. He's a great player. He's a good player, very good player. I don't want to call him like a great player because dude think he's a really good player, and he's kind of been hurt. You know what I mean? Last couple of years, last season, we all know he kind of missed a few games. He did come back at the end, but you know that's still in the minds of a lot of Raider fans, a lot of Raider Nation. And now this year is kind of more of the same. So it's like, people are kind of questioning, like, all right, is he the guy? Like, but I don't know. Darren Waller doesn't come off as that type of guy, though. There's nothing that would tell me that he's that type of guy. I don't think he's that type of guy. And I think that
I just, dude, to be honest with you, the amount of news and rumors and everything that's come about this Raiders team this season, really the last 2 years, I'm cool with all the reports.
Mhm.
Like, to be honest with you, I just, because I don't know what to believe. There's so many misconstrued opinions out there that I'm just gonna let these guys play football.
Right.
You know, we have a game coming up on Thursday against the Rams. If
Mhm.
Darren Waller is back and ready to go, then we'll see. You know what I mean? So whether it's him, Hunter Renfrow, regardless of the situation, we got a game to play on Sunday. So the guys that are available, the guys that are ready to step up, those are the guys that I'm tuning in to watch.
I think that'd be crazy if it did come out that, and I'm not trying to say that that's the case, but it's kind of interesting. We haven't heard nothing from Renfro in how long? I'm just saying. You know
You
what I
know,
mean?
we're going to find out a lot about all the conversations that's coming out about the locker room about, is this player bought in? Is that player not bought in? Dude, when this offseason hits and you start seeing players released or traded,
Mhm.
we're going to be able to start, you know, connecting the dots a little bit to be like, oh, okay, maybe this was the guy that, you know what I mean? Maybe this is one of the guys, and they might even be key foundational pieces. You know, we might move on from a Darren Waller. We might move on from a Hunter Renfrow. And
Mhm.
then that will answer us questions. So we'll worry about those when they pop up down the road. But for now, hey, we got a big football game this Sunday.
Frank White says the boy Stafford just went on IR. You know what? I kind of brought that up. I posted that on my social like the other day, and they were alluding to it because obviously Donald is going to be out, and now it's official. Stafford is on injured reserve. He's going to miss these next few games. They said he's going to probably come back at some point, but if they keep losing, I don't think it doesn't make any sense to bring him back. I mean, they might as well just rest him at this point. I mean, I think he's still dealing with like a really bad concussion. And the reason why we're talking about the Rams is because after we play the Chargers and we don't want to look too far ahead. The Raiders got to take it one game at a time. But we do play them in a short week on Thursday, and it does help that one of the best players on the team, like a Aaron Donald, like a Stafford, their starting quarterback, and I'm hearing, is Kupp not going to play too?
Yeah, I'm hearing the trio, dude. I'm hearing Kupp, Donald, Stafford, and those three could be off. So that's huge. You know, those are situations where you have to take advantage of it. You got to go out there and win those games.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got the Patriots. You know what I mean? Primetime. So you got 2 back-to-back primetime games. So if the Raiders can go out here, it really, the pendulum swings in the Raiders' favor this Sunday. Like if we find a way to go out there and beat the Chargers, man, you talk about building momentum moving forward into these next 2. And then if you go grab these next 2, then we're really cooking with something.
Bro, I just, this is the fan in me that is coming out right here. I want us to beat the man. I want to say what I want to say, but yeah, I don't want to say it. I really want to say something crazy on here, but I'm gonna keep it really G-rated. But I want the Raiders to really beat the Chargers, man. I want them to destroy them. You know what I mean? I think that'll be a huge statement game for them. But at the end of the day, I'll take a W at the end of the day. Like if they can win, that's all that matters. And the reason why I'm talking like that, man, because it's been a lot of pregame chatter. You know what I mean? With the Chargers, man. Let's talk about that, man.
Hey, what I love about this Raiders team is that we don't have to say nothing. You know what I mean? And it's usually the ones that are staying quiet that, it feels like they got the upper hand a little bit. The fact that Keenan Allen's coming out and chirping a little bit, I love it. You know what I mean? Because I think they understand what's about to happen on Sunday.
And at the end of the day, it's all about the game. I'm not saying anything like,
exactly.
It's just a game. But I do love that they're coming out and talking like that, because at the end of the day, that's just bulletin board material for a team like the Raiders. If you guys remember last year, we kind of did something to I think it was against the Chiefs, and led by former Raider Ngakwe, led them on the logo. I think on the road, Chiefs Stadium, and it was a bad look, man.
Bad move.
It's a bad move, man. You just got that team hyped up. You know what I mean? They could, for no reason. And now I think that's probably if you're in the secondary for the Raiders, if you're Nate Hobbs, that has to motivate you to be on at home too. It's not like
you know what happened last week when a fan chirped at Josh Jacobs about, the 3-7 holding up the poster board sign, and then Jacobs goes to him after the game and he's like, "Hey, thank you, I needed that." You start chirping like Keenan Allen's chirping. I mean, who knows who you're going to wake up on Sunday? It might be Max Crosby, might be Nate Hobbs. It might be Josh Jacobs going for 200. So Dude, honestly, I'm just sitting back. I don't have to say a thing. I don't have to say a word. I mean, Tuesday we did our preview show, and we had some of the Chargers fans, all three of them, pull up and got chirping in the comment section. It's like, man, nobody on the Raiders side. We don't have to go out and reach for it. It's like I feel like we get this sense of what's about to happen on Sunday.
Right. And then the real DC says, does Waller need to earn his spot back? Nah, not at all. Waller's starting automatically. I think what Waller needs to do is he needs to fit in. He needs to put his head down, run good routes, get open, and catch the ball when his number is called upon. Because right now, the Raiders' bread and butter is Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams, and those are number 1 and 2, 1A, 1B, however way you want to call it. Those are two guys right now that are carrying the offense. They're dynamic. They're one of the best players at their position in the NFL. So, in my opinion, it's just more of a matter of just coming back and just fitting in. To be honest with you, it's not more of it's not something where he needs to earn his starting spec. Come on, Moreau is a solid player, but
the beginning of the beginning of the season, everybody was struggling. It wasn't just Darren Waller. Okay, then the injury happened, and I think people tend to forget that this is a guy who wore a C on his jersey. This is a guy who, I mean, you remember back to the HBO Hard Knocks. You remember back, even within last year, these players buy into Darren Waller, one, because of who he is on and off of the field, his character, one, but it's his ability to work. This guy works extremely hard at practice. And before he had this setback, he practiced that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
He was a full go. He was good. You know what I mean? So, and then that last practice, he said that he was running a deep route, really try to set into the ground and be explosive, and he kind of retweaked it again. So, you guys, I don't think he has to earn anything. I think as soon as he's healthy and he's good to go, he gets right back into the lineup right away.
Mm-hmm. Sean Johnson, I heard that Green Bay was going to give Raiders a second-round pick at the trade deadline. So if Waller was faking it, we would have traded him at the deadline. That's true. It's true. I think at that time, I think the Raiders felt like they still could, they still feel like they can win, and they feel like if they can get Waller back healthy, that gives them a great chance to win. I don't think, and at the same time too, they felt like down the road, let's say if they don't make the playoffs, they still can trade them for a second-round pick or more. It's a little cocky, but I'm with them because Waller's a talented player at the end of the day, man.
And I think it bodes to what this organization thinks about Darren Waller. They re-sign him, and you have somebody, even with the re-signing, and you're not getting much production out of him due to his injury, you still have a team that's willing to give you a second-round pick, which, hey, that's rich capital in the National Football League. So, especially with the contract that he was given. So, to me personally, it tells me what the organization says. Now, do you think the Raiders would go on and trade Hunter Renfrow if somebody put a second-round pick on the table?
No one's trading a second-round pick for Hunter Renfrow.
I know, but I'm saying if that was put on the table, is that something that they would do?
Oh my God, you got to be the dumb. Like, I like Hunter Renfrow, but second-round pick for Hunter Renfrow, a slot receiver,
that should tell you the value, right? This should give you a table of one where the league values these players, and who, if presented on the table of opportunity to go get, who are you going to go and give up draft capital for? So this whole narrative, hey, would you move on from Hunter? Would you move on from Darren? Look, I'm holding on to Darren Waller right now. He's a special player when he's healthy.
Bourbon Country Raider says he had a C. Did he lose that C for a reason? I'm not sold on Waller, and I wanted to trade him in the offseason after he demanded a new contract with 2 years left. Now, did he have a C this season?
Maybe I know it was definitely last year he had a C.
But this year,
I'd have to go look back.
Yeah.
We didn't even get the C's on the jersey until like 3 weeks ago. There was that whole conundrum of the jerseys not being right and not a specific color. So they announced the captains at the beginning of the year, but I didn't get to see like who had it on the jersey when they started playing.
Right. You know what? I mean, hindsight is 2020. I mean, I was at the time when the Raiders signed Waller to extension. I loved it. I mean, because I'm looking at McDaniels, perfect fit. We've seen what he does with tight ends, and just this offense. I just loved it with combination of him and Davante Adams. I'm like, oh my god, that's gonna be crazy. Defensive coordinator that's gonna drive defensive coordinators crazy. But
go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that health. You know what I mean? That's been an issue for him. And when he has been on the field, he's had a case of the drops. You know what I mean? Like he's been dropping, some catchable passes. Go ahead.
So all the people that are saying, trade Waller. Hey, if this dude comes out here against the Rams, or if he goes against the Patriots, or really starts shining in that San Francisco or Kansas City game, keep the same energy. You know what I mean? Because this guy has the potential to really break out, especially with all the weapons. With Josh Jacobs getting going, the whole beginning of the season was this past game is going to develop the run game. But where the Raiders' offense is at right now is it's flowing through Josh Jacobs. And that, the matter of fact, it opens up everybody. So if Darren Waller can come in here and not have to be the guy and just continue to build the offense that you've been working with, look, this guy could really come in here and do really, really good in this Raiders offense. So everything that we thought about this Raiders offense has been slowly unraveling the last 2 weeks. Give it time. I think Darren Waller is going to get inserted into this offense, and I think he's going to do a lot of really good things. I think we just have to be patient.
Would you trade Renfro for a third-round pick?
Here's the thing. I think about it.
Because you're not going to – Renfro's not worth the first-round pick. He was never worth the first-round pick. I mean, as much as the Raiders valued him, he's a good player, has great chemistry with Derek Carr. There is definitely a difference between him and other players at his position.
I just think Renfro is –
he's like
Renfro's replaceable to me. I think he's a fantastic route runner. So he's top 5 at his position in the slot when it comes to route running ability alone.
Yeah.
But when it comes to size, breakaway speed, all the other measurables, being able to take a hit, you know what I mean? Being consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the things that I kind of have a question mark with Hunter Renfro with. So both of them are obviously dealing with injuries this season, but you say a third-round pick, I mean – I'm not going to say that I do the trade, but I'm thinking about it. You know what I mean? That's a lot of money that we've got wrapped up. And especially if you're trying to keep Josh Jacobs around, you got to look at it from a different angle. Like, okay, if we're going to move on, it's
I'm glad you brought that up. I don't want y'all to think that I'm saying trade Renfro. I'm saying is I'm thinking about Josh Jacobs. We have to keep him.
Exactly.
Like the Raiders have to keep him. But and
then you start putting it on the table. Josh Jacobs or Hunter Renfro, who's more valuable to your offense? And I don't think you even have to think about it.
It's not even close.
It's not even close. So,
would you say even last year too?
Yeah, but last year was a whole different story. Last year was an anomaly among seasons.
But even last year down the stretch when we were going on a run, Jacobs was carrying the offense.
It was crucial.
Yeah.
To me, dude, it's Josh Jacobs over Hunter Renfro, and if they're both healthy at the same time, hypothetically, both players are 110% ready to roll. I'm going with Darren Waller. Like to me personally, Hunter Renfro falls third on that list for me.
Yeah. Dodgers everything says Josh McDaniels has to utilize Waller to his ability. Same goes with Renfro. I'm with you, but I don't want him to mess up what the Raiders got right now. Don't go out your way. You know what I mean? Like, incorporate him in the offense, put him on the field. Obviously, run some plays, but still, the Raiders right now this year on offense, the best players have been Davante Adams, Josh Jacobs. It just depends on the week. Sometimes it's the Davante Adams show. It's always a Davante Adams show on Sunday, but then Josh Jacobs, obviously. We all know what he's doing this year. You know what I mean? He's breaking records. I don't want them to go away from that.
And mind you, this dude didn't even get reps the first 4 games. You know what I mean? Like, Josh Jacobs did not start getting heavy carries, until a little bit later in the year. So he had an early bye week. We alluded to that earlier in the season. And then those first 3 games when we went 0-3, we were extremely pass heavy. So I could only imagine if Jacobs was getting those 20 to 25 carries weeks 1 through 4, what his yards would be at now. I mean, the dude would be probably close, 1,400 yards at this point. I mean, with a real opportunity of hitting 2,000 yards rushing this season, which sounds crazy to say.
If he stays healthy, James Burpo's in the building. He usually this is him 100%. He always every comment that James Burpo leaves, it always starts with Raiders. Man, but I appreciate you coming through, man. But yeah, man, Demi by nature says it was Derek, Tay, and Hollins, Harmon, Max, I believe. What do you mean by this? Are you talking to someone in chat, or he's responding to a comment?
The captains.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Harmon's playing like a captain. He's playing like a player.
Kind of weird to see Hollins as one, if I'm being honest with you.
Special teams.
I get the special teams aspect of it.
Yeah, it's more of a special team.
Yeah, outside of that though, I don't know.
Yeah. Sean Johnson says, I think we drafted Renfro in the 3rd or 4th. No, actually in the 5th.
The 5th.
5th. Renfro's definitely exceeded his draft status. I mean,
so did Max. Max blew it out of the water.
Max, if they did a redraft, Max Crosby would be top 5.
Oh, top 5 pick.
I'm trying
to Michigan.
I'm trying to think of the draft because Bosa came out that draft. Nick Bosa and Max Crosby, they're kind of.
Right now, I'm taking
Max.
Crosby.
I'm biased. I'm gonna take Max all day, every day.
Still taking Max.
Yep.
His effort, man, just watching him is just. He's just one of those special players. Like you just click on the film and you're like, yeah, that guy's better than everybody else he's lining up against.
Yeah. Debo says Renfro's different under me. Yeah, and that kind of we talked about this like during the season. We're like, you know, a couple years back, Renfro had an interview where he was talking about how, you know, when he first got to the Raiders in his first couple years in the league, he was doing everything how the coaches wanted him to do, and he was just realizing like if he does it that way, he's going to be out the league. And once Gruden kind of gave him that freedom, the rest is history. We've seen Renfro unfold into a really good player for the Raiders. Darren and Renfro became a thing. But with McDaniels, you think it's like reverting back to doing exactly how the coaches wanted to do?
I think, honestly, that if it ever got to that point, I think Derek Carr has the relationship with Josh McDaniels. He could be like, hey, like, let us do our thing. Mm-hmm. And then I'm sure they both would stand there and say, hey, this was the same issue that we had under Gruden. Like, if you just let us go out there and play football and kind of like let us have the freedom to do our own thing, like we can really make this special. And I think Josh McDaniels would be okay with that. I don't see Josh McDaniels being the dictator and saying like, no, you're going to do it my way. I honestly think Josh is a little bit more lenient. I mean, look at he's obviously given Derek Carr freedom because the last week's game in Seattle, when he checked out in the red zone and went back to the John Gruden play and he ripped Derek Carr on the sidelines, obviously he's given Derek Carr that freedom to make those adjustments at the line of scrimmage. Mm-hmm. So to me, I don't think Josh is this dictator. I think he's actually more of a player's coach than what we might give him credit for.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking like it. I mean, you know,
at least of recently.
Yeah, recently. You know, I kind of came out and said like, you know, that I did say prematurely that that McDaniels lost the locker room just based off how the players were just looking on the field, their whole vibe, and then something switched. And like I said in the beginning of the show, it was Mark Davis coming out with public support of Josh McDaniels, and the players kind of woke up and like, all right, you know what, this guy's gonna be here. He's not gonna get fired. We got to do something. Or was it Derek Carr in his emotional press conference, and then it kind of fired a spark in that locker room? You know what I mean? It could have been,
to me, to be honest, I think it doesn't always have to be something crazy. I honestly think that I think losing brings out of a lot of emotions, and I think when you go on a losing streak like the Raiders were on, you just start pointing the finger in every direction. Like every little thing that pops up, we start pointing the finger. Is this the problem? Is that the problem? And I just think finishing football games and executing game plans was the issue. And I don't know how locked into detail the players were collectively as a unit. And I think these last 2 weeks, you start seeing them attention to detail more oriented. And I think you can make the argument this team has played more efficient, effective, fired up football the last 2 weeks than they have all year. So it tells me that they're locked into the little details, and I think that's what it's taken. Josh McDaniels came out in his press conference this week, and he was saying, hey, look, I just think the guys started doing the little things right. And they're starting to see the stuff that we're saying. If they just do it, there's a high chance for success. And I think that's what's happened, is they've really started to listen to the coach, really bought into the little details, and now they're starting to win close games, and that starts to change the entire locker room.
And Bud and Grubb says the way the moving right now, I wouldn't trip if we trade Fro and Waller.
Because this offense it's producing without him. We just put up 40 points.
And I think that's what Dave Z and probably that, front office is looking at. They're like, we need to make some upgrades on defense. We can't
give Josh his money.
And we can't let Josh Jacobs leave. Like that's he's too good of a player.
Way too good.
So they're thinking about it. They're thinking about different. They probably weren't thinking about it before the season, but now at this point,
if you got a second and a third for both players, would you make that move?
I
think our draft capital would look like 1 first round, 2 second round picks, 3 third round picks. You're talking about 6 picks potentially in the top.
If we got that many picks, I think we're definitely trading up. We're definitely trading up.
Really, all we would need is a 2 and a 3.
I'm telling you, like, if that's what it's going to take maybe a player like, not to like go all the way to the draft, but like maybe a player like Jalen Carter. If he's that good,
you got the capital to move up for him.
Yeah, but
Martavius Bryant went for a 3rd round pick from the Steelers to the Raiders.
We just got to figure out who was as dumb as the Raiders.
Oh, dude, there's the Texans. Somebody would take him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, man. But I'm just saying that. Yeah, that's likely not going to happen because usually when teams trade up, it's usually for a quarterback.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, you know what I mean? There's always going to be exceptions, but I think quarterback is always going to be. If the Raiders are in a spot where. Yeah, I'm not sure if Jalen is. Do you think Jalen Carr is that type of?
With where the Raiders are right now, if you had that draft capital, say you had a 1st round pick, 2 seconds, 3 thirds, if you want to bundle up 1 or 2 of those picks and move up into the first, I think that's the move. That's one of those moves to make to win now. That's my opinion.
And let me get back to the chat real quick. Mike Cutler says, I think Renfro hasn't been healthy and he's still learning a new system. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. You can say the same for Waller too.
Exactly.
And you could say the same for everybody on the team. They're still learning a new system. So I get you 100%, but it's just that the Raiders are going to have to make some big decisions, man, this offseason.
And I think like you're starting to see that this offense is as complex as what it was advertised, because it's like week 13, and 2 weeks ago is where you could honestly say the offense has started to click a little bit. So it took 11 weeks to really start seeing the fruit of all the work that's been put in this offseason. So yeah, it's going to be hard for Renfro and Waller just to hop right back in there but Darren Waller said that he's been running routes consistently with Derek Carr, behind the scenes. So that I think he might be caught up on the system now. It's just getting time on task with DC.
Right. And Marcus Webb says, I agree with you guys. Both Renfro and Waller need to play complementary football off JJ and Tay. I think this will reactivate third and Renfro short yardage and Waller for big plays underneath also. Yeah, man. It's not going to be a lot of pressure on them. To be honest with you, if they come in like that, and they are, because McDaniels is going to lean on the guys that have been producing, and then that's Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams. So they really are not coming with a lot of pressure. They just got to make sure they do their job, and that's kind of been the mentality for the Raiders right now. Do your job, and it's been working.
They're not the show anymore, and they don't have to be. The offense used to run through Darren Waller. They used to run through third and Renfro. That's not the case anymore. It doesn't have to be that way. Like, these players can play more free than ever before on paper.
And Sean Donahue says Renfro is going to be nice in this offense once everything clicks. I think we got to have a little patience with him. The whole team struggled early in the season, but injuries really set back Hunter. Yeah, man. I'm not going to make it seem like Renfro sucks. You know what I mean? And we need to trade him. I'm just saying the spot that Josh Jacobs put the Raiders in, having this type of season, and just now we've kind of realized, Raider Nation just realized, like, Josh Jacobs is the second best player on offense.
Is he the second best?
Devontae's is just.
I know, no, Devontae's special. Like, we all get
that.
But I mean, when DC and Devontae weren't on the same page and we were losing games, the one consistent key cog of the offense ran through who?
Yeah, you can argue right now. You can make a case for Josh Jacobs being the best player on offense, his most valuable player on offense. The fact that you've seen what he's doing this season. I mean, we all see it. He's breaking records. He's running people over, making guys miss, making one-hand catches. Breaking like all-time running back records for the Raiders.
Because I can see us win football games without Devontae Adams. I don't know how many football games I see us winning without Josh Jacobs.
Debo says, not sure I agree. McD is definitely controlling Renfro's routes. Well, the reason why I made that statement was because if you guys remember, Kurt Warner had like a little piece during the season where he was talking about the Raiders' struggles on offense, and he described what the Raiders type of offense the Raiders run, and literally he said that the receivers have to run the routes exactly as they're called, or everything goes off, everything messes up. So you start to think like, who does that really affect? What type of, that affects a guy like Renfro, a guy that likes to use his creativity. His creativity is the best part of his game. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong plenty of times. And I hope I'm wrong about McDaniels. I hope the Raiders.
I think that was definitely the case early on. I think that we could see that it was just like, hey, we're gonna do it Josh McDaniels' way. But I just feel like the guys are starting to pick this up, and I think that they're starting to realize. I wonder if there was more confliction behind the scenes than what they know. You know what I mean? Like Derek Carr and Hunter and all these guys on offense are like, hey, we've got a way that has shown and proven to work, and they've been into that system for years, and now you're trying to throw in something new and teach it a completely different way, and there's naturally going to be friction there. But I think guys are starting to see that if they focus on the detail of this offense, that they can go out here and win games.
I just remembered a public service announcement. Please make sure to hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button, man. I'm trying to get to 3K. Hey, I am excited. I got to 2K this week. So I'm going to be doing a 2K prize giveaway. I was supposed to have everything kind of ready for this show, but I wasn't able to get in in time. But just be on the lookout for that. But yeah, man, make sure to hit the like button if you haven't already, and also subscribe. And also subscribe to my guy right here, Raider Ray, man. We do a weekly show, once on his channel, once on my channel. Obviously, we're on my channel today. And yeah, make sure you want to subscribe to both of us so then you could get this show every week. And hit that notification bell too, because it helps. Because every time we go live, you'll be notified. But let's get back to the chat. Snoop has something to say. Snoops Hernandez says, so if the Raiders have to get rid of top players, something went wrong. Oh, for sure, most definitely. You know what I mean? Look at the past drafts for the Raiders. Look at the contracts. Even as recently as Dave Z gave out a bad contract. And Chandler Jones, man, so
might have gave out 2 or 3. To be honest.
Yeah, I think, but his worst was Chandler Jones.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my God, you can't even trade him. You can't even trade Chandler Jones.
Yeah, that's the worst. We're locked in, dude. We're locked in. Get used to seeing 55, unless you're just willing to eat that dead cap. But it is a big dead cap hit.
Mm-hmm. Mike Culler says, if the Raiders beat the Chargers, they should definitely win 3 more after that and be 8-7 against the Niners. Whew. Man, I hope, man. That's gonna be a crazy run. If the Raiders win out, man, even if they don't make the playoffs, the type of expectations and energy next season's gonna, you know what I mean? I hope they make the playoffs, but I'm just saying.
Dude, if the Raiders started this year 2-7 and end up rolling into the playoffs, there's no question about the coaching staff. There's no question about the locker room. None of that. Even if the Raiders are knocking on the door and they're like one game away, say going into that Chiefs game, it's win and in. Like I can't be like, yeah, you can be upset that early on you lost some games that you shouldn't have lost and not made it as hard on yourself. You know, Colts, Jags, Tennessee. I mean, you go down the laundry list of people that you should have beat. But dude, like to be 2-7, like that is what it was. To be able to have the opportunity to roll into the playoffs, I don't think any of us can be mad.
Yeah, and you know what, like, because I'm thinking about like the Raiders' chance of going to the playoffs. Like, it's gonna be hard because obviously they're gonna have to win out, and on top of that, things have to go their way. Like teams have to lose because the AFC is pretty competitive.
But at the same time, like to think that, you know, Tennessee, Miami, the Bengals, the Ravens, who have been struggling a little bit. Who else is in that last lineup spot? I think I'm missing somebody.
Let's think about it. Look. Let's go to the AFC North. You have the Bengals, the Steelers. Who am I leaving out? The Bengals, Steelers,
Ravens,
Browns, and the Ravens, right? So obviously the Bengals is going to go to playoffs. They're going to the playoffs. Or if they win the division, it's like between them and the Ravens. But the Ravens, the Ravens are like 7-5, 7-4.
Yeah,
right?
but dude, they just got beat by the Jags. Like they're struggling. Like Lamar Jackson, he started off the season hot, but he's not looking good right now, dude.
I don't know if Lamar Jackson's the issue with the Ravens. I think it's their defense. They have a terrible defense.
It might be, but his stats is definitely declined. Okay, so here's the standings.
You want to share it?
Yeah, let me get the conference pulled up.
Let's take a look at this, y'all, man. I want to see what are the Raiders' chances, because if the Raiders win out, man, they should be able to go to the playoffs, but the AFC is pretty competitive.
So there's the division standings. Let me get the conference pulled up here.
Mm-hmm. But in the meantime, DeMarcus Webb says, also healthy or not, Raiders need to look more into getting Zeus more involved in the offense and other running backs to keep JJ backs. 100%, man, because where would the Raiders offense be without Josh Jacobs, man? But the Raiders kind of put themselves in a little bit in a hole. Like, I don't want to say they put him in. Obviously, Josh Jacobs having a huge season. You got to put him out there. But you got to get other guys going because now, you know, if Jacobs doesn't go tomorrow, because he's questionable going into this game against the Chargers. So he could possibly miss the game. Or so a guy like Zeus needs to be ready to go. And he did look good last week. He had a couple of good runs that I've seen, like his best runs of the season.
All right. 2022.
They're not gonna. We don't know, man. James, we don't know if he's gonna get rid of it. Like we're just throwing it out there because we know that the Raiders have to keep Jacobs, man. It's either Renfro, it's either Waller. Someone got to get traded. And you know they just got paid. They got a nice little contract.
All right, you're good to go.
All right, let's see. All right, let's take a look here. All right. So we got that. So this is okay. The top 7 teams. Let's see: Kansas City, Buffalo Bills, Miami.
So the top 2 are locked in, right? Miami, you could honestly say they're cooking right now. It's 4 through 7. Like the Jets going to be consistent? They're starting a new quarterback. The Bengals, you know, I think of these teams, they might be the one to like make a little run here. Baltimore just lost to the Jags. We'll see what happens to them. And Tennessee Titans, man, like anything could happen with them. You know, they could go out there, win the division, or I don't know their schedule. So, yeah. But really, dude, it's the Jets and the Ravens and the Titans that I'm looking at. Like they need to. Something catastrophic has to happen there.
Yeah, because I'm look, the top 7 teams right now, look, are KC, Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins, Tennessee Titans, Baltimore Ravens, Bengals, Jets. Jets are the 7th seed. And this 8th seed, we're playing tomorrow, the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
So that tomorrow's game is huge for playoff implication, for sure. If the Raiders are going to make any type of playoff run, obviously they're going to have to win out, but they're going to have to win key games. Like to be honest with you, the non-conference games don't really matter. It's the in-conference games that matter. And losing against the Jacksonville Jaguars, that hurt.
That one, okay. The Jags, we lost to the Titans.
The
Who else did we
Titans.
lose to up there?
The Titans, yeah. Because
Okay, the
I
Titans,
think that if it tiebreakers are they're gonna look at conference record, right?
The division, the Titans look like they're 3-0 right now.
Mm-hmm.
The Bengals are 1-3 in their division. Wow.
Yeah.
The Jets 2-2. What about conference though? Who's struggling in the conference games?
I think they look.
Baltimore and Cincinnati have the worst.
Hold on,
But they're sitting there pretty good.
what's going on, y'all? Man, I appreciate y'all coming through. If you haven't liked the video, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Also, I'm gonna put this out there because my guys D Menace and Daniel Kim are out of here. They're not here today, but there are usual, mods. So we are looking for some more mods. It is something that we will go over the details with you. But if you're interested, make sure to hit me on Instagram, Pharaoh NFL, PHAROOH NFL. Exactly how it sounds and spelled. I mean, you could look at my channel name. You'll see Pharaoh NFL. You'll find me on social, especially on Instagram. And then Raider Ray, you can hit Raider Ray on Instagram as well. And then we'll let you know what it takes to be a mod. But if we feel you're the right candidate, man, we're gonna make sure you get that blue wrench.
Hey, but honestly, I mean, look at the people that we still have left to play here on this list.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've got New England right there. We get a win over them. We get a win over the Chargers. I mean, dude, we're knocking on the door right at that 7th seed, and then the Jets are starting a new quarterback. They benched Zach Wilson.
Yeah, and I think Mike White is better than.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to be for a game or two. Let's see if he can do it consistently.
I know, because all he needs to do is just manage the game, because the defensively they're pretty good, pretty tough. But it's crazy that we're talking about the Jets like that. But
Hey, it's kind of fun to see these teams, like the Miami Dolphins, the Jets, those teams of the world finally having some success, just to kind of mix some things up. But hey, let's throw the silver and black in the mix.
Raider Room, hey man, I appreciate you coming through. If you haven't already, make sure to make sure to hit up Raider Room's IG channel. He has a lot of good stats, a lot of good information about the Raiders, man. He has one of the best Raider channels on Instagram, so make sure you go over there and give him a follow. Appreciate you coming through. Mike Color says cutting Abram was a great move in my opinion. It looks like it because he's on his 3rd team. You know what I mean?
By the Seahawks.
But it's tough though for Abram because we kind of know that he's a guy that only fits in certain systems. You know what I mean? And he might fit in well with the Seahawks.
He might, but how unfortunate would it be to see this guy out of the league within the next year or two? A former 1st-round pick, and because of his limited role, and what would that say about the reach of how bad those Raiders 1st-round picks were? Like, yeah, it's been regurgitated. We know how bad they were, but just looking back at the entire situation, Arnett, I don't even think Arnett's in the league. Ruggs ain't in the league. Cleveland Farrell is going to be moving on, obviously. Jonathan Abram, like the only one that's worked out is honestly Josh Jacobs and Colton Miller.
Rax Poker says Devontae Adams just said in an interview that the routes they run, they have options and the wide receivers choose which ones to take. But that's the thing, though. That's the reason why in this offense, it's so tough for the receivers because they literally have to read the defense. Each defense gives them options, but you can see why a receiver coming in can struggle because it's not simple and plain like, hey, just run this route. It's like
they've got responsibility. They've got film to watch.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And a guy like Renfro, he's played with Gruden his whole career. He's played in one offense his whole career, so obviously it's a struggle for him. Same thing with Waller. It's an adjustment and an adjustment for everybody on offense. So I'm not throwing a book at him. I'm just saying at the end of the day, like right now, it is what it is. Jacob is playing great football right now. He needs to come back, and somebody's going to be, someone's going to be let go. I mean, hey, if they can figure out a way to keep everybody and sign Jacobs,
you're going to have to restructure a bunch of deals. That's for sure,
man. Because we got to upgrade the defense,
dude. You have to.
We haven't even talked about that.
But it's going to be that to me personally, you go young and you go through the draft.
Yeah.
And they might go the route, if it's anything like last season, look, they might go the route put your salary cap into the offense, the people that you're going to build around, and then use draft capital solely on the defensive side of the football, and have just young rotational pieces because they've invested money at both bookends. You're not moving on from Chandler Jones. They've got a ton of defensive players on 1-year deals, which tells me, they weren't going to go out there and lock anybody up to big deals, except for the guys that they wanted to keep. So they might they might honestly put a ton of salary cap into the offense, a right tackle maybe, bring back Josh Jacobs and put a lot of guaranteed money into that side, and then go out there and spend 8 to 9 draft picks on the defense and just flood it with young talent.
Hey, I just want to put this out there. Can y'all see this on the screen? I don't know if could anybody see anything on the screen where we're putting up the AFC playoff race.
I've got it on the big screen, and I can see it on my side.
Yeah, but not everybody's watching on the big screen. They might be watching on their phones. They might watch on their computer. You know what I mean? It just really depends. Maybe on the big screen, but I just wanted to make sure because we might do more of this. We want to make sure we want to keep it interactive. We want to make some, we want to add some stuff to the show. So if you guys can see this, we got a lot of stuff that we can actually show and talk about. But yeah, man, I think the Jets gotta fall apart. One of these teams gotta fall apart. The Ravens, the Bengals, Jets. I don't think the Bengals are gonna fall apart. Ravens, maybe.
It might be the Ravens. It might be the Ravens and the Jets. That's what I'm putting that's what I'm banking on.
I think Titans are locked. Miami Dolphins. Yeah, they're gonna go to playoffs.
Miami's in for sure.
Miami's in. Bills, obviously.
Shout out to Miami, dude. Look at them sitting up there at 3.
Man,
first-year head coach. I mean, bringing in Tyreek Hill. Talk about having immediate success.
Yep. Facts, 100%, man. Let's get back to the chat, man. Let's see. Raider Room says, so why Mac Hollins and Carr not okay? So that's why Mac Hollins and Carr have not been in sync at times. Yeah, for sure. I mean, Mac Hollins. How many times have we seen Mac? It's kind of getting to a point where man, they might have to decrease his playing time because if you keep running the wrong route, that's the turnover waiting to happen. Just putting that out there. I mean, I like Mac Hollins, but at the same time, there was that time, I think it was it against the Colts or the Jaguars? I think it was against the Jaguars where I think Mac Hollins was supposed to run an in-breaking route, and then he kind of ran the route so lazy. I don't know I think he was lost. I don't know. He didn't think the ball was going to come to him, and then it looked like the Jaguar safety looked like he could take it to the house. It's one of those times.
I'm curious how much of a student Mac Hollins is. I know he's a hard worker physically, but I'm curious at how much of a student he is when it comes to film, because it's been popping up the entire course of the season.
Mm-hmm. Raider Room says, got to get this dub this week. If Waller can come back looking like Waller we know and love, Tay, Waller, and JJ will keep us alive. Yeah, back 100%. Because think about it. Other than Devontae Adams, who else is a threat in the passing game? It's Devontae Adams' game. He's such a big part of that passing offense. He takes so much attention that he makes it so easy for everybody else. So imagine actually giving him a real talented. That's why I'm hesitant to be damn, if we trade Waller, who's gonna be that secondary guy that actually can take off pressure off Devontae Adams at some point.
Next offseason, you're gonna have to go get a true number 2. That's my opinion. I mean, you look at the Chiefs situation; they're in their own unique bubble because of Andy Reid and what he's able to do when it comes to play calling. But Buffalo, they've got some nice receiving cores.
True number 2. Who are we gonna get a true number? We're gonna get a true number 2. We got so many holes on defense, and we got to.
I'm telling you, you might have to draft one. It might have to be around a third round pick.
I think they need to hope and pray that they can get Aguilar on the cheap. You know what I mean? And it's a bad wide receiver market too, so he's probably gonna get.
He's gonna get paid.
Yeah, he's gonna get paid. But
actually, you know what?
He's hurt, and he's only had one actually productive year.
He's not gonna get paid, bro. He got his money with the Patriots.
So
nobody's gonna give him that kind of money again. Not with the production.
And it's a perfect fit. He can literally come, and then you could draft maybe a receiver in that later in the draft, in the mid rounds. that you can develop because we know how we all know this offense is tough. Oh my God, we got hold up, we got some Charger fans in the. We got all three of y'all in here. Y'all sorry as okay. Charger Nation all day, man. You talking this mess just like Keenan Allen, but hey, man, tomorrow we gonna see what's gonna happen. All right. Let's see. Hold on. We got is that? Oh, you're the only one. You're the only one in the building. Okay, that's all right. We just
well, that's everybody.
That's everybody. That's all.
That's everybody.
Hey, we're gonna always make that joke about the Chargers having no fans because they literally don't. You know,
they really don't.
You know, it's another home game every time we go to LA. Pretty much, you know, it sucks, but it is what it is. But Brian says, why ain't we using Albert Wilson? He's the speed. I think we actually cut him earlier in the season. Yeah, he's gone. He is gone. He is not part of the team, man. And it is what it is. It's hard for players to come like in the middle of the season and be an impact.
Click on Sean Johnson's first one. He said New York Jets next 5 games.
Oh, he has a lot. He has the Ravens. Hey, I appreciate you, Sean, man. Oh, the Sean Schefter Johnson.
Sean Schefter. That's my man.
Sean Schefter. He says Ravens next 6 games are Broncos, Steelers, Browns. Oh my God,
that's easy. But look at the Jets. This is where we get in.
Okay, let's see. Jets. Okay, 5 games are Vikings, Bills. Ooh. See,
there's 2 losses.
A lot of people have been talking about the Vikings. They're not as good as the record say they are because they won a lot of close games or stats.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is. But
this is my hope.
Yeah,
my hope is the Vikings show up and play.
Vikings blow them out. The Bills handle their business. But divisional games are always. I think the last time the Jets played the Bills, they won. The Jets actually didn't they beat the Bills this year?
They got a split, right?
Hopefully the Bills.
Well, let me see. What is the Jets' record in their division? It should say right there.
You got the info.
2-2. 2-2 in the division. So they split with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look.
Yeah, Hey, you're right. The Jets are the team to watch. These next
Jets are the one, bro.
Yeah, they're the team to watch. But this is all, like I said, everything has to go right. But we've experienced that last year. You know what I mean? We experienced that last year with the Raiders, like just finishing the season strong and kind of things going in the Raiders' favor at the end of the day. But that being said, hey, the Jets are the Jets at the end of the day. They're not a proven team. They're having issues at quarterback, and they have some tough games. Oh my God, the Dolphins. Seattle's no gimme too.
Yeah, Seattle's no joke.
Yeah, I think the Jaguars.
Potential 4. Jaguars can play them tough.
Yeah, Jaguars gonna play. They're playing good football right now. They're playing hard.
Yep.
They're playing hard under Doug Peterson, and the quarterback over there is playing well too. The Lions, it is what it is.
Yeah, Jets won 20-17 against the Bills.
Man,
this is the time to catch an L, though. Split with the Bills. That's where I'm at.
Man,
but Josh Allen had a bad game that game. That's the one where he came out and he's like, "Oh, I played like trash," and all that stuff. So,
what Brandon Rambo says, "Eagles Nation fly, Eagles fly, best catchphrase ever." Man, are you Eagles fan? That was terrible. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was trash. I gotta get a sound effect for that one. Come on, Brandon. You supposed to come better than that, man. Eagles Nation fly, Eagles fly. Man, am I tripping? Was that pretty bad,
bro? This is random. I'm glad you found the live stream. Welcome to the show. But
no, I appreciate you coming through. We just messing around. We like to mess around on the show, man. Appreciate you coming through. But let's see. Brandon, take Nation out and y'all good.
Yeah, everything with the Nation needs to be.
There's only one nation.
There's one nation.
There's only one nation. I don't know why every team feels like they can add nation to their team. Like, be creative. Find something else. You know what I mean? The Browns got the dog pound? They got the dog pound.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's their own thing. It don't sound that good, but it's their own thing.
Did you see earlier in the season when they unveiled like the Browns logo?
Oh my. The elf?
Yeah, it was terrible.
Hey, bro,
Or were they thinking that someone should get fired?
Yeah, let's not bring that one back. Just throw a bulldog out there or something.
Okay.
Stick with the dog pound.
I was right. Jets did beat Bills 20-17 this year. So, it is what it is. Divisional games are always tough, especially because then Jets are playing well this year. They're 7-4, but I think the Bills will probably beat them the second time around. I hope.
Oh, dude, I hope Nate Hobbs clamps up Keenan Allen, bro.
Oh my God,
Because he's gonna get so frustrated. Like if he doesn't get success and the Raiders do a good job scheming him, doubling him, like he's gonna get frustrated, and that's something I'm excited to see.
What was he? What was he saying? What did
He
Keenan
said
Allen
like barbecue chicken or something?
Chicken, and I'm gonna beat him. I'm the Slayer.
That's his nickname. He says, "I'm the Slayer." What kind of? That's the
That is
corniest-
so ugly. That's so corny.
Yeah, it's corny. It's corny, but it is what it is, man.
I'm the Slayer.
He's a good
Okay.
player. Hey, Keenan Allen, he deserves the right to talk mess. You know what I mean? He's a good player. He's played well in this league. I'm not gonna take that away from him or anything like that. But it's just, hey, man, you talk like that, you better back it up tomorrow.
Exactly.
Back it up, because hey,
Because he's going against a good
Hobbs-
corner.
oh my God,
Hobbs he's gonna show up ready to play too.
exactly. Lonnie Raiderette in the building. She says, "Hi, Farrell. Hi, Ray. I appreciate
What's
you
going on,
coming
Lonnie?
through. Long time no see. Haven't seen you in a minute." Brandon Rambo says, "Yeah, I guess, but I'm from West Virginia, so Eagles do go worldwide. Been a fan. Oh, okay, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. You support your team. Hey, they doing their thing over there, man. They look, man. Is the GM over there? Is he? He's probably gonna win the GM. He has to win GM of the year.
Yeah,
Like
he probably will.
the way he put that together.
I don't know. Miami.
Yeah.
Miami
but
might be
man,
in that
like-
conversation.
The Eagles roster, if they don't, I think they got to be the favorite to go to the Super Bowl.
Chiefs,
Out of
Eagles.
Because who in the NFC can play? Who can match up and actually give? Okay, because I'm trying to think like Eagles and who? Cowboys? Eagles and Cowboys? Cowboys are
You just never. I feel like you don't know what you're gonna get with the Cowboys.
yeah, no. Surprisingly, they have a good defense this year too.
Let me see. Because I know I'm forgetting somebody, so I'm just
Right.
gonna look. Yeah, you're right. I mean, atop is Minnesota, Dallas, San Francisco.
Mhm.
Really, the NFC isn't that strong. Like, I don't fear playing. Like, if we had to play Minnesota tomorrow, it's not like I'm like terrified.
Right.
Dallas, I feel like we can beat Dallas. Philly, obviously, would be super tough.
James, yeah, man. Brownie the Elf? I couldn't believe it. Like someone has to get fired in that building for even like that. That's a fireable offense. You know what I mean? I don't want nobody to lose their job, especially during the holidays. But man, that's so bad. Right when you seen it, you were like, "Oh, like what? What's so? It's not even. It's not cool." No, there's nothing.
And what about like the Bengals getting like the black and white unis? I'm like,
Yeah,
why
they-
is everybody getting these white? Like, why can't the
They're trying to
Raiders?
get on the
do like
Raiders
a-
type? You know, they're trying to get on the
No,
Raiders.
why can't the Raiders get like an all black uni?
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that. Like, what about our color rush? Like, if we got an all black uni and like a chrome face mask or something, something different. I kind of don't want to switch up our uni.
Right. He said the secondary. He was specific. He wasn't even saying our defense. He said the secondary. So he's pointing at every guy, every corner on that team, every DB on that team. He's pointing at them and saying that, you know, he's gonna destroy them. I mean, he has a right to feel that way. You know, he's putting work in this league, but yeah, like I said, you better back it up tomorrow. You know, you just gave a guy like Nate Hobbs, who hasn't been playing these last few games, a competitor like him, a guy that he wants to be on the field, and you just gave him some ammunition or tongue twister for me right now. I don't know why it's not coming out right, but you gave him some fuel to his fire. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, Jerry Tolley says we need all AFC teams to lose to NFC teams. Anyone in the hunt needs to take that L. Whew.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, and obviously the two teams in front of us, the Colts and the Jags, got to win over us, so that's huge. We need those teams to lose, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't think the Colts are looking that great. They're not too strong of a team. The Jacksonville Jaguars are starting to play tough. We'll see how they fall. New England, I feel like we can definitely beat New England, and then we got the Chargers ahead of us, and then we're sitting right behind the Jets. So, yeah, man, we need these four teams to lose, and that's very plausible. Chargers can't stop the run. New England doesn't. They're all types of frustrated. The Colts, obviously, you know their situation. in Jacksonville, it might come down to us in Jacksonville if I'm being or the Chargers, to be honest.
Jerry Tully wants to remind y'all, hit the like button. Man, facts 100%. If you haven't hit the like button, please make sure to hit that like button. It helps the algorithm so I can keep coming back with more videos, more lives. I like what I'm doing. I want to keep going. Me and Ray do. So you want to make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed to his channel, go over to Raider Ray and hit that subscribe button as well, because we do a weekly show. Obviously, it's on this channel today, but the next time we go live, or I think next show, just be on the lookout. We do a show on this channel as well. So make sure to subscribe to his channel. And yeah, man, I appreciate everybody coming through. And Jerry, man, I appreciate you for that comment, man. That was some real facts, man. Brian says, do you guys see Jacob staying with the team after the season? I hope. I don't see how they're going to bring him back.
Yeah, I mean, it's for me right now, it's 50-50, because it's just, I don't know the direction that they're going to want to go when it comes to allocating all this money, because you have so much assets wrapped up in the offensive side of the football. Of everybody on the team outside of Devontae Adams, yeah, Josh Jacobs is the guy that deserves it, but it's like, what route are we going to go? Because obviously the defense needs addressed. You need I would like to go out there and get a player or two in their prime who's playing really good football on the defensive side, and then address everything in free agent or in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, this is a tough decision, man. I think you might have to ship off one of the players or do a really, really big job of restructuring.
Yeah, a lot of guys need to take pay cuts.
And that's hard to do. It's hard to just bring guys in the room and be like, hey, I need you to give some of that money back.
Facts, 100%. And we got Raider Junk in the building says, yo, what's up, live from Vegas, hitting the game tomorrow, Raider Nation. Hey, man, facts, man. Hey, man. Hopefully we come out with a W tomorrow.
Oh, the nation better show up.
You know what I mean? It'll be a beautiful thing, man. But, it's going to be a tough game. It's a divisional game, so we're not going to take anything away from the Chargers. But I hope we blow them out. Oh, my God.
Oh, I hope so, too. I think it's going to be a close game. It might come down to a shootout. But, hey, I want to see the nation. I want to hear that Raiders chant echoing through the Vegas stadium. Hey, is that even like – that was more of like I feel like a Oakland thing, that Raiders chant. Has anybody been to Vegas? Like, is that something – like it's hard through the TV to hear. But is that Raiders chant still something that's prominent?
I think when they first got to Vegas, they were definitely struggling because they were going 1, 2, 3, go Raiders, go Raiders. Something weird.
Oh, that's so gross.
So terrible. But as time went on, and obviously Raider fans from all over, they kind of like put them up on game and just let them know, like, hey, like, nah, that's not how it go. I think it's still there. I think they're still learning. I mean, football's still new in Vegas, and it is what it is, man. It's the Raiders are in Vegas, and they're just gonna have to learn. But Sean Johnson, he's over here, man. Sean Schefter Johnson coming through, man. Cincinnati Bengals next 6 games are the Chiefs, the Browns, the Buccaneers, Patriots, Bills. Whew.
Ooh, they got a tough lineup,
man. I might have spoke too soon about the Bengals being in, because that's tough. That's tough, man. But the Raiders, at the end of the day, they can't really focus on what other teams are doing. They got to focus on what they need to do. They got to win out, at the end of the day, for even them to even have a chance. But like I said, things got to work, go in their favor, and the Bengals got a tough schedule. Not gonna lie.
I wonder who the Chiefs play.
If the Chiefs collapse, that would be. But what's the Chiefs' record right now? They're like 8-2. I mean, they got like one of the best records in the league, right?
Let's just have them lose out.
That'd be beautiful, man. But let's see. DeMarcus Ray, you don't mess with perfection. We have the best uniforms in the NFL.
Facts, bro. I was completely out of pocket.
Yeah, we got the best. We got the best.
We have the best uniforms, hands down.
Yeah,
you don't have to change it up. I was just saying. I was just throwing it out there. Everybody should look like us. We got to make it up.
I appreciate you, Lonnie. Yeah, make sure to sub. She's putting the links in the chat, man. Make sure to sub. Irish Rock, he's already predicting right now. He said Raiders 28. Hey, that was my Irish Rock. I swear to you, like last show, that was
yeah, that was your score prediction too.
Yeah. I gave two because you gave 2. I'm like, all right, what, I'm giving. I see you try to be smoothly put a second score in so you could be like, oh yeah,
I got to be close.
Right. So Raiders 28, Chargers 24. Just win, baby. Facts 100%. What was your score prediction?
Mine was 33. 33-31, I thought. I'd have to go back and look. No, it might 30-27, I think was my score.
Yeah, Elijah, come on, man. Hey, we have no problem with anybody coming to the chat and talking and have a good time or whatever. I mean, if you love your team, you love your team. We're just messing around. But yeah, keep it respectful. Keep it respectful at all times, man. Okay, hey, man. The Chargers 31-13, man. Hey, you're going to feel that way. I disagree. I don't think it's going to go that way, but we'll see. We'll see tomorrow, man. I think players will restructure for a guy like JJ. Hey, but you know what? It's when it comes to money,
it gets dicey.
Because would you restructure Marcus? Would you restructure whatever you get paid at your job for some other guy?
Somebody that you're really cool with?
Like you're cool with him, but like, damn,
hey, dude,
you got a family too, right? You got a family. You got things that you got to take care of. Like, it's when it comes to money, it's a touchy subject. So that's on the Raiders. It's not on the players. It's on the Raiders. And when I say the Raiders, it's on that front office. It's on Dave Z and company. You know what I mean? They got to figure that out. It's not on
anybody. It's going to be Derek Carr getting his base salary down to like $10 million.
Yeah,
trying to keep everybody.
Yeah, they might go up to Derek Carr and be like, "Hey, look, we want to put a great team around you, but in order to make this work,
trying to go back to your rookie contract numbers."
Damn, that's crazy.
If not, we're about to go draft a guy and replace you. I'm just kidding.
Brandon says, but thank you for shout out. I usually don't get no shout out, even though I didn't have the best saying. It's all good, Brandon, man. It's all good. We just messing around, man. Appreciate you coming through, man. It's all love, man. Oh man, Lonnie.
Oh yeah, she done shot him down.
Gave you a chance. Wow, man. Hey, she is a mod. She's my old school mod. She's my old school mod. So if you did something disrespectful, man, it is what it is.
Yeah, he said first and last time in this sorry place. Get out of here.
Oh, my God. Do we play Kuntz tomorrow?
We should.
We should, but
against this offensive line, we should be activating everybody. We should be seeing complex blitzes. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing some, shaded disguise covered zeros. Like, at this point, send the house on the Chargers offensive line. They're missing Corey Linsley. Even the Chargers fan base is stressing about losing Corey Linsley and how different their offense looks without him in the lineup. That's going to be crucial.
And hey, their left tackle is gone for the season as well.
Their starting right tackle's gone tomorrow.
Ooh.
So I'm talking, dude. Like,
so the Raiders,
Jerry Tillery,
sneaky
player of the game. Jerry Tillery, 2 sacks.
Man, I hope that'd be a nice little revenge because he was a former first-round pick for the Chargers. Mm-hmm. For him to come back and he has a big game, that'd be huge. And this is why a guy like Keenan Allen might have spoken too soon, because you look at, like you just mentioned, the Chargers O-line issue, and the Raiders D-line quietly, or not so quietly, the D-line is kind of stepping up the last few games.
For sure, 100%.
Guys like Chandler Jones, I know I've been getting on him lately, and a lot of Raider Nation has, but he's causing some pressure. You know what I mean? Max Crosby playing like his head is on fire, like he's the best defensive player in the league.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if he gets. I'm gonna make a bold take. I say he gets 3.5 sacks tomorrow, in a big way, like big crucial moments. Not just like padding the stats and making it look good. I'm talking like fourth quarter, third downs. Chargers are trying to make a drive to come back in the game, and Max Crosby comes up with big plays.
Alex Marquez, this goes back to how the Raiders would keep Josh Jacobs. He says they can create cap space, converting some salaries into signing bonuses, win-win for everyone minus Mark Davis. Because he's gonna have to he's gonna have to give some of his money. You know what I mean? But I don't know if Mark Davis is gonna do that. But he's making a lot of money being in Vegas. Because he's been in Vegas, he's been pretty profitable out there. So we'll see, man. Let's see how serious he is about winning. If a guy like Josh Jacobs comes back and he gets paid, man, the Raiders got money to spend. Lonnie says Raiders front office got to figure out the cash over the cap like other friends. Yeah, they do.
They will.
And they will.
Dave's ego's smart.
DeMarcus Webb says, I only mentioned the restructure because DC mentioned it with Mac, Renfro, and others. So to help get them new contracts. At the end of the day, it's up to the players, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Sure. Derek Carr is just unique. He's not like 99% of the other people.
That's the one thing, you know what I mean? And I'm glad you brought it up. You said that he's unique. He loves the Raiders.
He does, dude. He'll do anything that he can to see this franchise succeed. And if that means him taking less money for a really good
I'm telling you
player,
right now, once the Raiders start winning, and if they start winning with Derek Carr, and if they could win some playoff games and actually get to the bowl game, and he's forever going to be like an all-timer for them. But that's a big if. Obviously, he has to go out and do it. Raiders have to win, but man, he's everything a fan of the team would want. Like, he loves the Raiders. He actually cares.
You think he's the best quarterback to ever play for the Raiders that hasn't won a playoff game?
Yeah, I mean,
so
that's kind of easy.
You think so?
I'm trying to think of like anybody else. Like, it's not
Okay,
like,
take the playoff situation out of it. Do you think he's the best Raiders QB of all time?
nah, I can't put him over guys that have consistently won too. And I know people are gonna be like, well, look at his numbers, but like, you also got it's a little bit of context too. It was a different time. Look at all the other players' numbers. It's not like, you know what I mean? That quarterback like a guy like Kenny Stabler. If you see his numbers, you're gonna be like, what?
And not too many of those other quarterbacks was on this team for a decade. You know what I mean? 10 years.
Yeah.
Rich Gannon wasn't the quarterback for 10 years.
Yeah. And he seems kind of bitter too. Every time he talks about Derek Carr, he throws a little shot at him. Like, look at his all-time. You're like, God, you know what it is with the Raiders.
I know. If
Why
anybody,
why do you have to throw that shot? Like, you of all people, I can understand someone from the outside. Like,
he's been the guy for forever, for years. Everybody's like, well, the Raiders haven't been good since they had Rich Gannon. So that ego steps in. He's like, yeah, well, he's not as good as I was.
It was just, I understand, I love Gannon. You know what I mean? He was a good quarterback for the Raiders. He won an MVP, but it was literally, how many years was he with the Raiders? 3, 4?
Yeah,
around 3 to 4 years.
I think 3.
Late 90s, early 2000s, and then
before I don't know my Raiders history and get smoked in the comment section.
You know, fun fact. I think his career ended against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, not the Super Bowl though. It was a regular season game. I think he tried to run it in. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but he got hurt and never came back. Jerry told you, yeah, Gannon hates Carr, beat all his franchise records except playoff wins. I mean, I don't want to say he hates him, but he come off a little bit like a hater when he does that.
99 to 2004.
99 to 2004. So that's about 5 seasons. 4 or 5 seasons. Right?
6 seasons.
Yeah, 6 seasons. You know what I mean? So.
But in that 2004 season, he only started 3 games. In the 03 season, he only started 7. And then the last time he started a full season was in 2002, obviously.
And at the same time, too, he came to the Raiders at how old was he when he came to the Raiders? Was he like mid 30s? Mid 30s? 34, 35?
Yeah, because he had already played, 4 seasons with KC. So 1 with Washington, there's 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. So he was already in the league for 11 years before he even came to the Raiders.
Mm-hmm. Gannon had Rice, Brown, Risen, Hoffman, Wheatley as his weapons. Yeah. Porter. Jerry Porter was a nice little player.
Porter, he was nice.
Charlie Garner?
Garner, he was nice.
Charlie Garner was one of my favorite running backs in the league. You know what I mean? Obviously, I was a Raider fan, biased, but like, he was so fun to watch.
Tyrone Wheatley
was solid. He was solid. You know what I mean? And the Raiders, that was last time the Raiders had a good defense. Think about it. If you really think about it.
Vargas.
You like Justin Vargas for real?
Well, dude, at the time that we didn't have anybody that special. He was just,
he just ran straight. He just ran 100 miles per hour. He didn't make not one cut. He just ran straight.
No, you want to know who I really liked was Michael Bush.
Michael Bush was nice, underrated.
I liked Michael Bush.
He was underrated, especially because McFadden was the starter. But the Raiders had a nice little 1-2 combo with him, McFadden and
Marcel. That was a nice little 1-2.
It was nice, but if you really think about it, the Raiders have been bad for a long time. There's some bad teams, man.
But man, I was rooting for each and every single one of them. Darius Hayward-Bay, Jacoby Ford. I was the biggest cheerleader for all of them.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my God, I remember Denarius Moore. Oh, I was like I thought Daenerys Moore was gonna be.
Oh yeah, I thought Daenerys Moore was the next like.
I mean, I thought he was gonna be nice, but you know, it is what it is. You know, it didn't work out that way. But yeah, man, we're approaching that 1 hour and 30-minute mark, man. I appreciate everybody coming through. Any last thoughts, man? Like, how do you feel about, you know, let's see, Jerry Chase said 35 when he went to the Super Bowl in 02. Okay, so he got there. He got to the Raiders in his 30s. So and you know, Carr, you know, he kind of came. He was drafted by the Raiders. You know what I mean? You could probably make an argument the best quarterback the Raiders ever drafted. That's probably me.
Oh yeah. That's a better argument. That's a better category to put him in. For sure.
That's a better argument. But yeah, man. Any last thoughts, man? Going into tomorrow's game, man. Like,
no, I'm just honestly, Farrell, I'm so excited to see. I just have, again, like we've talked about it the last 3 weeks. I just have this gut feeling this team's going to find a way to win, and that feeling hasn't gone away. I really genuinely feel like the Raiders are going to find a way to beat the Chargers, and then we're really in this thing. And then I'm curious to see where the cards may fall. You know what I mean? That when we get past the Chargers, I'm taking it one game at a time at that point, because you know, there's a lot of things that have to happen for the Raiders to make it into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But if we can get past the Chargers, you're talking about a real serious opportunity to create serious momentum going against the Chargers or going against the Rams, the Patriots, the Steelers. Like, these are all games that if the Raiders are clicking on all cylinders like they have been recently, I mean, anything can be on the table at this point. So I just want to see the Raiders get after Herbert, shut down the run game, run the football efficiently. Max Crosby, do what he's been doing, step up in big-time moments. DC to Devontae. I mean, let's just keep this show rolling.
Facts, 100%, man. If the Raiders are going to make this season happen, they need to win. It's as simple as that, man. And I'm not going to say it starts tomorrow. They should have started at, you know, the first game of the season. But, you know, we all know why, you know, that didn't happen. But now we're here, and they need to beat the Chargers. They need to win out, basically. And a lot of things need to go in their favor. But, hey, man, if we can get a W, man, it's just going to add fuel. And these, I think, I don't know how many home games are left, but.
Oh, that's another big point. Thank you for bringing that up. The last 6 games of the Raiders' schedule, 4 of the 6 are home games for the Raiders.
Boom.
That's huge.
That is huge, especially if Raider Nation knows you got to win out. You're winning these games. You're on a 2-game win streak. You keep winning these games. You're on a how many game win streak? You best believe those home games are going to be wild, going crazy.
4 of 6. That's huge.
Exactly, man. But, man, like I said, if you haven't liked the video, make sure to hit that like button. Man, we just wanted to come through. Saturdays usually are like chill show. We want to talk to the chat, you know, have a good time, have a good show. We appreciate everybody coming through, man. Hey, man, and possibly, maybe, hey, we might have a post game. So be on the lookout, man. Community tab. I usually post on my community tab or socials. So yes, be on the lookout, man. But till next time, Raider Nation. Peace.
Great Pharaoh, the gift of Troy is a fabulous fabric from the land of the 5 rivers.
Just win, baby. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.